Okay, good. Welcome guys to my little guide. I'm just gonna show first of all my setup, and then after that I'll be doing mini recordings because I usually die to the bosses because it does take a bit of time and effort, especially with this load rating. But this is my setup for the first part of the fight. Basically, for you're gonna be using this build. You don't need to have the two extra. I have two extra from being level 90 longer than most. So if you want to take out two, if you don't have your any in the second, take out Heart Expansion. Um, but other than this is what you want to use. Slyer Fox, Smooth Move. The Smooth Move is to create distance between you and the enemies because you're going to be kiting a lot, which basically means like luring them. Then you got Melt for damage, you got High Magic for damage, you got Hunt for even more damage. I like to use Cat Enhancement because it allows me to get just Doom Blast faster. Now, Doom Blast is the really big scythe, if that makes sense, the one that does the most damage. I use Netherlight in order to heal up or to avoid certain like sections of the boss's attack. For example, the teddy bear's get ready to hide message thing that pops up. Scorch is not really that necessary. If you can use any, you can really use any EX because Scorch does help if you're able to land it, but you have to keep so much distance. If I mean, like maybe if you play a little bit into the game, you can tank a couple of more hits than me, but I can't, so I need to find a better EX to use. But I'd recommend like maybe Dust Blaster might be good. I'm not too sure. You can mess around with it. Maybe even Thunderclap will work. Um, but yeah, then also I have this build. This is for later on. Now, I don't use this build in my run, in the one that I got the when I completed it. But let me just quickly run you through it. Destroyer and Chain to do more damage with your sights. Now, the reason what you're doing, you're getting rid of Cat's Tango because Cat's Tango requires you to be stationary and you need to kite the bosses a lot. So you don't really have time to sit in this because if you stand still for a couple of seconds, you will probably get hit quite often, and damage is something you want to avoid at all costs because a lot of the moves will one-shot you. Um, so yeah, that's basically a rundown of my build. I'm going to be recording the rest of it and then sending on the group. You can take one out of Heart Expansion and put it in Hunt and complete it. I just forgot to change it. But Destruction Shadow, let me explain how it works. When you use enough Destruction Blasts, then it fills up and gives you Doom Blast. For each Doom Blast you use, you get 15 seconds reduced cooldown time on Grim Scythe. So Grim Scythe is obviously doesn't require you to be stationary like this, so you can move back. So the plan is to obviously get your bar full. You can also use Cat's Essence to get Doom Blast faster, and then that will reduce 15 seconds on the cooldown. But that will be basically my guide for my talents, my setup and stuff. Like I said, I don't use this build because I'm too used to playing with Cat's Tango, but what you want to do is basically the following when you're kiting the enemy. So you'd be kiting, and then you'd want to attack, hit, teleport. Attack, hit, teleport, because you want this cooldown to be gone. The reason for that being is obviously if the monster's here, you want to teleport, hit them, and run, because otherwise you take unnecessary damage the whole time. Okay, thank you for watching the setup. Now I'll be on to fighting, to showing the first section of the fight.